right, so for this video today, we're going to be practicing how to blend two different color pencils together. So in the last color pencil video where I talked about color mixing, we didn't talk about how to really fully blend one color to another in a smooth transition, so smooth gradient from one to the other. So what you're gonna need for this, you're going to need two different colors. It's good if you have a light color and kind of a darker color, but you don't want them to be the same. Try to find two different colors. So like I've got a kind of light blue green and a deep blue violet here. And then you want to have a white, or if you have available, a colorless blender, since you want to be able to blend your colors together. So to start this, I'm going to start with one of my colors, and I'm just going to start with a gradient. Kind of start dark, and we're going to use our pressure to move to a light value. So try to keep your pressure even. Don't let it change from dark to light too quickly. Just a gradual change. You're just going to pull your hand to the right. Or if you're left-handed, you can go to the left first. But it doesn't really matter which way you go first, since you're going to have to do both anyway. And then as you go, just lift the pressure so that you're just barely skating over the paper with your color pencil. All right, so as you can see, I've got a pretty smooth transition from dark to light with one color. Now I'm going to take my other color and do the same thing with it. So to start, we're actually going to start dark on this side, and as we go to the left, or the opposite way, so if you were left-handed and wanted to go left first, you're flipping that. So we're going to start dark, and then as we push towards the other color over here, you're going to lighten your pressure. It's the same way, but it's just going the opposite direction. Okay, so you may have to go back and forth with your two different colors to kind of create a more gradual transition, because right now this middle tone has too much paper showing through. So you're gonna have to kind of add more color in over top that. And you're gonna keep doing that until you have a relatively solid amount of color. So it's gonna take a couple of layers. It helps too to change the direction that you go. So as of this point, I've only been using vertical strokes, so going up and down with my marks. If you go side to side, you can start to kind of squish your values together. However, it is kind of hard to keep the gradient going this way, because you want to keep using the same pressure. So you're only really doing this, like, keep a light pressure. You're only adding a layer of color to kind of help move the color around on the paper to help with that blending process. So I'm not going all the way over with this pressure that I'm doing, because it would be a different pressure over here. Just trying to get some of this color over here mixed a little bit more so it'll look like there's a transition occurring. You can still like go back in here and like add just a super duper light layer of color. And I'm going to go back in with my other color, my second color, and try to add a little bit more of this in here, but going side to side instead of up and down. it looks like right here I'm having kind of a sudden change from my light blue-green to this blue-violet. So I'm going to add a little bit more of my blue-green right here to try to soften that edge a bit. Okay, so as you can see, I have a ton of color down, but we are starting to get kind of a smooth transition. The colors are starting to blend. This is where you're going to go in with either your white or your colorless blender. The best way to create a smooth transition with your colors is to use another color that won't add to it to kind of blend those colors together. Now, white will lighten it, so only use white if you don't have the colorless blender or if you do want to have a lighter version. But the colorless blender will move the pigments more together and create that blended look. But the best way to really change colors with colored pencil is to layer. And so as you saw earlier, I was layering quite a bit to try to change from one color to another. I was changing the pressure I was pushing into the paper with my pencil, because you don't want it to get too waxy too quickly, because then it won't blend. So you just keep layering your colors until you get what you want. But colored pencil works best when you do layer, and that's the best way to do your color mixtures. And so right here I'm adding my white, and you can see that the colors are just kind of blending together as I go over them. And remember, you want to go in the opposite direction of your last layer. So the majority of my layers were up and down, so I'm going side to side with my white and try to kind of move the pigments around a bit so they blend. I'm not trying to lighten them up too much. I mean, as you can see, they are getting a little bit lighter, but for the most part, all it's doing is really just kind of smooshing the colors together so that they blend a bit. And that's what you want. Okay, and there you have a way to create a smooth transition from one color to another. Now, I know you guys can probably still see some of these white spots in here. This paper has a little bit of texture. It's really not great for colored pencil. You want to have a smoother textured paper like cardstock or like Bristol board or something that'll allow you to blend and not get caught up in crevices. But that's why it's not fully blending right now. It's just the texture of my paper isn't conducive for good colored pencil blending. But this is what you need to know when you are using colored pencil and how to blend from one color to another to make kind of a smooth transition. There will be more videos coming up, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching.